fastest down picker. Well, I don't know that would be me. Probably be Hetfield or Kerry. Kerry's a very fast player. He's very talented at what he does. And I never really watched his picking method to see if it was all down picking or if it was pedaling, which goes back and forth. Some people call it butterfly picking, other people call it pedaling. I'd say it's got to be James or Kerry, yeah. I'd love to say it's me. I'm sure I've got some really fast down picking stuff, but I still think those guys are great. And Hetfield's still one of my favorite living guitar players. Let me go on the record right now too. I saw the thing with James on stage where he was saying that he was going through a rough patch. I was sad to see that because it's been one of those really weird love-hate relationships. And the whole reason that I ever even pursued any of this was I really liked those guys. If I didn't like him, I would just say, yeah, fucking flush the toilet and we're done with it. He's always been somebody that I really liked playing with. I wished things wouldn't have ended the way that they did, but, que sera, sera. It was a dumb thing that I did by taking my dog up to practice. And it was even dumber to punch him. I really respect him, and I respect his playing, and I hope he knows that there are a lot of people out there like me that like him as a person and don't give two fucks about him being in Metallica. Steve was pretty vulgar. Right? He's a Sex Pistol. Why wouldn't he be? So he comes in, he's riding his motorcycle, and he's sitting on his guitar case, got a broken arm. And I asked him what happened. He said, some woman pulled out in front of me, and he ended up on the hood. And we start playing, totally out of tune. And I don't know if we didn't have a guitar tech at the time, if he didn't know how to tune his guitar or what was going on, but it was totally out of tune. The other thing that was really quite bizarre was I asked him, what he wanted to get paid to do this. So we had figured $1,000 cash would be plenty for him at the time, right? He's a Sex Pistol. He's not a union session guy. I said, so we've got $1,000 to pay you. And he says, how about $100 and some suction? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm sorry, bro, but I just don't know a single girl that would want to put your meat in her mouth. We joked around a little bit more during the session, but I loved it. I love Steve. I think he's the real deal. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I think there's a lot of messages on Countdown that are relevant today. I think when you look at the title track itself, the Japanese actress who did the voiceover in the middle of the song said 1 hour from now, another species of life form will disappear off the face of the planet forever, and the rate is accelerating. So if you figure that was written 30 years ago, and every hour another form of life disappears, it's got to be less than that now, right? And one that I know of is a wide-lipped rhino, which is identified as the white rhino. The last one just died recently. Yeah, so no more wide rhinos. There's some really good soloing on some of the albums 2-3 records ago, the ones that were before Super Collider, In-Game, and The System Has Failed, and United Abominations all had some really good soloing on it. Something I'm Not and The Scorpion have really great solos on them. Of course, there's the solos in Hangar 18 and Holy Wars are great. The solo in Chosen Ones was a really great song. But these are songs and solos that I think a lot of the people that listen to Megadeth music are super familiar with a lot of the songs, but not every single song. So that if I say, hey, the solo in Losing My Senses is my favorite solo, I think a lot of people would say, Losing My Senses? Wow, what record's that on? It has influenced the music a little bit because I had to kind of regroup. You know, there were some things that were going on, and I was, dealing with learning how to live life now with cancer. I'm a fighter. I figured, you know what, that cancer is going to die in my body. I'm not going to be the one that's going. And sure enough, man, we kicked its ass. The team was great. And I'm here to tell about it now. And, I went out on tour and started playing. I was having a little bit of difficulty with my voice. So, I just thought I'm going to start from scratch and just try and recover and heal myself and do all the right stuff. And you know what? I ended up singing better than I have for a very, very long time. And I was able to hit a lot of the high notes that I wasn't able to do anymore. And that was worth everything. My family, our kids and our animals. We've got a lot of stuff that we do as a family, our wine business, our beer business, the music business, but that's business. As far as the family's concerned, we're a really, really super tight family. That's my crown jewel, is the way that my marriage and my children have turned out. Well, I always liked the first Crowded House record. I thought that was great because it reminded me of the new Beatles. Another one, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here with headphones. Listen to it with headphones on. And then the third one, non-metal, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. More excellent songwriting. The guitar player they had at the time, I think his name was Dave Johnstone. He was an awesome player. And songs like All the Young Girls Love Alice. What a great song that was, man. I would love to do that song as a cover. George St. Pierre, because he is a class athlete. He doesn't chest bump. He doesn't finger wag. I don't have any recollection of him being a trash talker. He was good for the sport. He was good for the community where he lives. I actually went to the school that he had trained at, some, not all of his career. Met with one of the professors that he trained with and got to roll with him, which was great. And we talked about George. And so he's my favorite athlete of all. And, there's some other athletes I like, but I don't know enough about them to go out and give them my endorsement. I did go to college and I was taking business management. So if I wasn't a musician, I would probably want to be a doctor, helping children do some Doctors Without Border journeys, anything to help. I love being able to help people. I went through my life for so long being on my own, being alone, having nobody. And then the time that I spent homeless was the worst, the absolute fucking worst. So I know what that's like. I know what it feels like to be homeless. I know what it feels like to be hungry. The only thing I think I would want to be is of help to others. In a homeless center and a soup kitchen and a bread line. That's why I wrote Bread Line, because we went past that place every day. We would see the guys out there just waiting for food. It makes me want to try that much harder to try and help people, to try and understand people. I guess it's just a matter of where we would be performing and maybe who we're performing with. I've got a couple of people that I was thinking would be really cool to star in some of the videos we've got planned coming up. I think it would be really cool to play in a non-gravity airplane. But I hear the way that happens is you go up into the air and they pitch the plane down. So you go up into the air. And I don't know that I'm going to be cool with a plane nosediving to the earth. I mean, I'm cool with skydiving, but if you're up there jamming and you're trying to pull it off, the fact of me becoming a dirt dart doesn't appeal to me. So maybe I'll wait until we can do the first gig up on the moon.